Namaste, and welcome to Sea Change Yoga's online video series. I'm Sky Adams, Sea Change teacher and teacher coordinator. Sea Change Yoga brings trauma-informed yoga to those who need it the most and who may not have access or the means to take a yoga class. We believe that yoga heals and yoga is for everyone. The videos you're about to watch demonstrate a trauma-informed style of yoga. While you're encouraged to practice along with the teacher, please take good care and do what works best for your body. Everything the teacher offers is a suggestion. Please enjoy practice. You'll notice the teachers in these videos are using tools and equipment to help support their yoga practice. While these props are useful, they're not necessary. And if you don't have them available to you, you can use regular household items to substitute. So the first prop that we use is the yoga mat or the sticky mat. And they're available just about anywhere, but if you can't find one or don't have one available, you can use a towel or a blanket instead. So a towel on the floor would support your hands and knees for any kind of all fours position, for example. And then if you were doing a lunge position, you might choose to use instead a blanket underneath your knee for some additional support. Another useful prop is the yoga block. These blocks are usually made of high-density foam or cork or bamboo. And if you don't have these blocks available to you, books work just as well. So you could place the books at the front of your mat as a way of lifting the ground up to meet you, to find some extension for your arms in a forward bend. The blocks also work well stacked up so that your hips can rise a little bit above your knees for a more comfortable seated position. If you're practicing the restorative yoga video, you'll notice these postures are held for an extended period of time, 6 to 8 minutes. So you might choose to have some additional support and soft comfort. A yoga bolster is used in the majority of restorative yoga postures. And if you don't have a bolster available to you, you can use a pillow or a couch cushion. The couch cushion provides just enough support for your entire spine so that you can relax into these restorative yoga postures. I hope you found this instructional video useful and enjoy your practice. Namaste.
So welcome to your mats, everyone. Thank you for being here today. And this will be a half-hour, relatively gentle yoga experience. And because we each land every day a little bit differently in our own bodies, please be really cautious to take good care of yourselves. It's important. So we'll begin by taking a comfortable seat, and that could be in a simple cross-legged position. You might choose to sit back on your heels. You're absolutely welcome to sit in a chair or to lie on your back. So you can just find a way that might help you become more present in land for our practice. And then let your hands rest lightly wherever they find themselves. And if you're comfortable closing your eyes, feel free to do so. Otherwise, you're welcome to keep your eyes open. I would say just keep a gentle, soft gaze on a single point in front of you. So begin to find a connection to your breath. Noticing the inhalation and noticing your exhalation, and allowing for each inhalation to draw you more present. Let the exhalation be an opportunity to let go of whatever came before this moment. With your next inhalation, you might sit up a little taller, breathe a little bit more space between the vertebrae. And with the exhalation, soften the shoulders, relax the belly. Begin to come home to yourself on your own mats. I forgot to say this, but if you're able to have a blanket or a cushion from your couch, or if you don't have yoga blocks, books can be helpful. we'll use some props. And so if you have anything like that in your own home, you might want to pause and then get those things and come back. So take your palms to a prayer position in front of your own heart, and take a moment to bow your head to your own heart. And these initial moments of practice, beginning to check in and experience what your inner landscape is. And from this place of taking note, you might want to set an intention for your time with yourself on your mat today. I always encourage students to be kind with themselves to the best of your ability, to let yourself have lots of breaks if necessary, to let the breath guide the way. If you can't take a full breath, it means you've probably come into a shape too deeply. And know that we hold a lot in our bodies and our tissues. So be very sensitive and gentle to take care. So you might take your thumb knuckles to your third eye, right between the eyebrows. And again, as you bow head to heart, may we each be open to a more authentic connection to Source, to ourselves, to our own bodies. May we not feel so separate. May we feel more connected. And then return the hands back to the heart space. You can flutter your eyes open. We'll just inhale the arms right up overhead. The top of the inhalation, if you're able, you can interlace the fingers and invert the palms, and then reach up through the side body. Again, eyes can be open or closed. And then slowly release the hands. Start to roll out the wrists and the finger joints and the elbows and the shoulders. So we start to move into a whole upper body joint-like dance. And then if you're able, you could interlace your fingers behind your back. You could also take a tie here or a t-shirt or sock and just start to draw the shoulders gently back with the chin out of the chest, opening the front body. And then slowly exhale. You can let that go. We're going to transition into all fours. And if your knees are sensitive, you're welcome to take a blanket underneath your knees. As we come onto the mat, I encourage you to have any blocks or books or supports you might have towards the front so that you have easy access. And then just start to place the hands really specifically on the mat. So the pointer fingers are parallel, the digits are spread, and you might begin to rock your body weight gently from side to side. Continue to stay connected to your breath. And on an inhalation, start to draw the chin out of the chest as you lift your sitting bones, opening the eyes nice and wide. And as you exhale, close the eyes, start to draw the chin into the chest and round the back, pressing your palms flat to the mat. This is called cat spine. And then we'll inhale back into cow, chin out of chest, sitting bones rising, eyes wide open, maybe getting a bit of a stretch in the front of the throat. Exhale, round in. Maybe you close your eyes here, really drawing attention inward as we start to articulate through the spine, and then inhaling into cow, opening the eyes wide. And then start to take your knees a little wider, big toes to touch, and start to press your hips back into a gentle child's pose. So for some of you, that might mean that you stay upwards with your chest. You could always take a block or a stack of books or a pillow underneath your forehead as you eventually find a place for your forehead to rest. And you can continue to rock a little bit side to side, stimulating the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. You might prefer stillness, so making a choice. So child's pose is considered a resting shape, and you can come here at any point during your practice. We're going to rise back up into tabletop on all fours, and this time as you breathe in, grow long through your spine, and as you exhale, look over your right shoulder and take your right hip in the direction of your right shoulder so you get a little opening in the left side waist. Inhaling back through center. And exhaling left ear and left shoulder towards left hip. Gaze is down. Inhale back to center. We're going to do that one more time. Exhaling into a bit of a side stretch. Inhaling through center and exhaling, side stretch. And then return, tabletop. This time you can take your knees a little wider on your mat, left hand underneath your gaze, and then begin by just placing your right hand on your low back. Go long through the spine first, and then as you exhale, start to twist a bit here. So your right elbow reaches to the sky, you're looking to the side wall, and then if this works in your body, the right arm can reach skyward. If you have sensitivity happening in your left wrist, you can always come down onto your left forearm and take the edge off that wrist crease. And we'll slowly release that right hand down. And we'll bring that right hand or the right forearm to the ground, and you'll reach your left arm to the sky. So you're opening through the chest, lengthening through the spine, breathing. And then slowly release, left hand back down. We're now going to bring the inner knees to touch. So it's not uncommon here for the belly to release down towards the earth. So I'm going to have you bring one hand to the abdomen and just start to draw the abdomen very slightly to the spine to protect the low back. Take your chin out of your chest, so look forward a bit, and on an inhalation, take your right leg behind you. You might look over your right shoulder to just look at where that back leg is in space. Sometimes our leg is really low, and it's actually fine to keep the foot on the ground. That might be enough for you. Sometimes the leg is out or up high. We're just trying to extend it directly behind us. And then slowly release. Bring your gaze forward again. You can always come down into a gentle child's pose to get off the wrists. And we'll come back to tabletop, nice and slow. Extend the left leg long behind you. And this time, actually, let's curl those back toes under, press into the back heel, and then your choice, whether you keep the toes down or lift the leg up. And again, I'd encourage you to look over your left shoulder if you have the leg extended, just to notice where the leg is in space. Sometimes we're not connected when we can't visually see. And then the gaze comes forward again. Breathing here, building upper body strength, steadiness. Slowly release the left knee. Again, relax back into child's pose. And if this causes pain in the knees or the hips or the ankles, know that you can modify by not coming back so far. From child's pose, we're going to rise up to the table. Curling those back toes under, articulating into the feet. Take the right leg out behind you, and then optional left arm forward this time. So we're toning through the underbelly, reaching long through the extremities. Add a soft smile to the face if you're able, and then slowly release. I'm going to do that second side. So you're going to extend the left leg long, remembering that you can always keep the toes on the ground. Right arm extends forward. It's called the Sunbird posture. Toning through the belly, breathing steadily, receiving, releasing breath, and then slowly release. One more time, we're going to extend the right leg long and the left arm forward. Really rooting down into your standing right hand. Imagine that you could grow roots into that hand, looking either down or straight ahead. And then release the left hand. Bring the right foot off the mat to the left. And as you press into both hands, start to take your gaze towards that extended right leg. You can press into your back heel. Feel and breathe into that stretch. You might feel it in the foot and the outer right hip. And then we're going to slowly take this right foot forward. So some of you will be able to step the foot right to the front of the mat. Others of you might need to bring the foot down and then guide it forward. And this is where it can be really great to take your blocks. Some of you might not need the blocks. You can always bring your hands up onto fingertips. That'll give you a little bit more length, or the hands up onto blocks. And you can stay right here. So look down at your right foot, make sure that 5 toes are facing straight ahead, and you can rock your hips gently forward and back. If you're looking down and that's serving you because of makes you feel a bit more stable or balanced, by all means. Otherwise, start to take your gaze forward. Hands can stay on the blocks, or you can bring your hands up onto your front thigh. Hands can stay here, or you might bring your hands onto your hips, and then rooting those hips down, hands could stay here, or you can reach your arms skyward. Press into your right foot, lift and lengthen through your spinal column. See if you can turn up the corners of the lips ever so softly as you breathe and feel the steadiness and the confidence that's arises sometimes in this posture. And then slowly release hands to earth. If you have blocks, you might want to place them at a lower level. And we're going to step the left foot to the front of the mat. Here, the blocks might come up to a higher level, and you're going to press your hands into the blocks. You can always also press hands into the shins. We're going to inhale and lengthen out through the spine. Look right up between your eyebrows. It's a powerful place to set your gaze. And then exhale, and you can bow in. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to, releasing the head. We're going to take a halfway lift 2 more times. So with or without blocks, yogi's choice. Inhaling, pressing firmly into your feet, toning the underbelly, lengthening through the spine, third eye gaze. Exhale, bow in. And again, inhaling, find your own rhythmic connection to breath. You never need to follow my guidance with the breath. It's just there to remind you to breathe. Exhale. And then this time, take your thumbs into your hip crease. For many of us, the elbows will go out to the side. See if you can take your elbow points to the ceiling. Check your feet, all 10 toes facing straight ahead. And we're going to inhale and rise to stand with the hands on the hips. Peel the shoulders gently back. And then with your hands on your hips, root the legs down. Imagine the torso could lift right up out of the hips and then spin the palms up to the sky. Top of the inhalation, you might look skyward and then take the hands to the heart. Notice how standing feels very different than being on the ground. You're welcome to rock your body weight forward and back. We'll bring the hands to the hips again. I just want you to recheck your feet. So for standing mountain pose, you want the feet about hip width apart, which is usually 2 fists, and you're welcome to take the 2 fists between the hands, if that's helpful. And then ground from hips through the leg bones into the soles of the feet. And then your palms can either stay by your sides, open. You're welcome to reach the arms up overhead. If you have any shoulder impingements, bring the hands back down towards your hips. And then just take a few steady breaths here, gazing out upon the horizon so that you have the steady connection to earth and maybe feel a little bit of the inspirational energy that comes from being connected to the sky. Ground down to the soles of the feet. Maybe engage strength around the muscles in the legs. And then exhale, we're going to soften the knees, release the arms down by your sides, and start to hinge forward at the hips. Let the head go. Inhale, halfway lift, look right up between the eyebrows. And then press into your hands and bring yourself back into a tabletop. I'm going to encourage you to have your toes curled under here, although you could also have the tops of your feet on the ground. If you take that variation, just press into the tops of the feet. So I want you to stay present in your hands and your feet. Many of us are so disconnected from our bodies, so presencing ourselves in our hands and feet can be really helpful. I just tend to appreciate the feet. Toes curled under, that feels nice in my body. So breathe in, long spine. Breathe out. We're going to take the left leg behind us. Gander over your left shoulder and extend into that left leg. And then take your right arm forward. Slowly release the right hand. Bring the left foot off to the right. And you're going to look over your right shoulder as you breathe into that side stretch. So in my body, I feel that a lot in the left hip, but check out where you feel the stretch in your body. Maybe it's more in the foot. Breathe here. You're going to step that left foot through to the front of the mat. Again, that might be a two-part process. The foot may land, you might actually need to hold on to the ankle and then take it forward. And then grab those blocks or stack books under your hands if need be. Better to have something hard to press into, and you can stay low or start to come up. And I would encourage you to just move a little bit side to side. Explore how your body feels in space. So often our gaze is down, and you might take note, and it's not inappropriate for it to be down right now as we've just taken a new form. But once you start to feel steady here, see if you might be comfortable taking your gaze forward, and notice how that has a different quality to it. You can stay here always, or bring your hands up onto your front thigh. Again, I would encourage to have something under the knee. If you don't have a blanket, you can always fold your mat in one time, and that'll give you some extra padding. So the hands can stay on the thigh, the hips, root the hips down. Maybe take the thumbs to the armpits and actually loop the shoulders gently up and back, and then reach the fingertips to the sky. So in fact, we're taking the shape of mountain pose in the upper body, even though we're in a knee down warrior lunge. So pressing firmly into that left foot and lifting and lengthening through the side waist. Noticing how this may for you be an expression of yes. I want you to take a moment to really appreciate yourself for making it onto your mat. Another big breath in here. As you exhale, release the hands back to your yoga mat. You can bring the blocks up to the front, and we're going to step the back foot forward. Once again, take the blocks if you'd like to the highest level. Notice that all 10 toes are facing straight ahead. I didn't say this earlier, but if you're practicing in socks, see if you might be willing to take the socks off and free the toes, and just let your hips rock a little bit side to side. If you're able, you want to lift and elongate through all your toes, and then thoughtfully bring them back to the mat. Bring the hands to the hips. Again, elbow points to the sky. And inhale to stand. Turn the palms open and feel. Notice what it feels like to be standing. You can rock the body forward and back. You might rock the body side to side, exploring your edges a little bit. And then eventually finding your way into mountain once again. So knees over ankles, hips over knees. Shoulders over hips, turn the palms open. We'll move through a few rounds of standing sun breaths. So we're going to inhale the arms up overhead. Top of the inhalation, if your neck is okay with this, you might look up. And then in coordination with the exhalation, palms facing the earth, start to exhale, arms down by your sides. You might take the chin all the way down to the chest. And then as we inhale, imagine that you take energy of the ground, the earth, right up through the limbs of the legs, reach up to the sky, and then all the energy of sky right back down through the skull, through the spine, into your hips and into your legs. And we'll move into some breath, just 2 more rounds. Find your own pace here. Inhaling and exhaling. What would it be like in life to really find your own rhythm, to not be needing to keep up with others or to compare yourself to others? Next time the arms go up, we'll bring them down through center line so that they land back at the heart, completing our standing sun breaths. Let your gaze be right on the tips of your fingers, just noting that where we place our visual gaze matters, and that when we can start to focus our visual gaze, this can help us to focus our minds. You can bring your hands to your hips, and we're going to soften into the knees. You want to make sure that you don't have anything on your mat. We're going to come into Warrior 2 and take a big step out with the right foot towards the back of the mat. And your left toes are going to be directed to the front of your mat, and you can gently angle in your right toes. Take a moment to make sure that the front heel is bisecting the back arch. And then we're going to begin to take a deep bend into the front knee, and notice that the knee is tracking over the ankle. It's not uncommon for the knee to want to come into the space in front of you, so you're going to just want to be intentional there. And then you're welcome to soften and bend a bit into the back knee. That might take the edge off the pose. And we're going to bring the arms out at shoulder height. So what I see most commonly in this posture is people reaching the torso over the front legs. I'm going to invite you to really reach into the back arm. And if you have your hands on your hips, you can also just look down and make sure you have head over heart over pelvis. And with the arms out to the sides, we're going to take the right hand on the heart, which may soften the posture a little bit. You can turn your left palms to the sky. We'll start to revolve, warrior two, getting a stretch in the side waist here. Beautiful. And then returning arms out at the side. Bring your hands to your hips. We're going to straighten into the left leg and turn the toes in the other direction. So your right toes now to the back of your mat, making sure you have front heel bisecting back arch. You're welcome to angle your back toes in a little bit. And then just start to bend into your front knee. Just exploring how this feels. Doing your best to have the knee move in alignment with your toes and not into the space in front of you. And you're welcome to look at your back leg, the root of the posture, and soften that back knee a little bit. And then look down here before you add the arms and just notice head, heart, pelvis alignment. We don't want to be reaching into the future, don't want to be hanging out in the past. Arms come out at shoulder height and take the gaze over that front hand. You might turn the palms open. This invites in a little bit more of a receptive gesture. Breathing and feeling. Inviting in a little bit of fire, a little bit of strength into the yoga practice. And then left hand to your heart. Just soften this a bit as you reach the right fingertips skyward. Doing your best to keep a nice bend in the front knee. And we're going to start to bring the arms back out at shoulder height, and then return the hands to the hips and take your right foot forward. And we'll come to a standing forward fold here. You're welcome to take your feet a little bit closer together. You're also welcome to grab a block or again stack of books and place them underneath your hands. On an inhalation, let the side waist get nice and long. Look forward or maybe right up between the eyebrows. And as you exhale, soften a little bit through the elbows. Relax the jaw. You might feel nice here to bend into your left knee and draw your hips over towards that left side of your mat just a little bit. So you might feel a stretch in the hips or the inner thighs. And then we'll slowly bend into the right knee, and you're welcome to take your block with you a little bit over to the right as you get a stretch in the other side, other leg. Do that one more time at your own pace if it's feeling good, right? If it's not feeling good, then you can stay right at center or you can exit entirely away from the posture. We're in a standing forward fold, which might have the tendency to calm the nervous system a little bit. We're going to walk the hands down over to the front of the mat. We're going to come back into all fours. Walk the knees back a bit. Come down onto your forearms. And then start to bring your whole body to the ground. You can place palm on palm and rest your forehead, elbows out to the side. Breathe in and breathe out. So this may be enough of a back bending shape to just be lying here, abdomen expanding to earth, tops of the feet rooting down. Notice how the ground rises to support your weight. On inhalation, let the front, back, and the sides of your lungs expand. And on the exhalation, let your muscles soften from bone and just really give the weight of your body to gravity. We're going to bring the forehead to the earth and bring your hands underneath your shoulders, fingertips facing forward. I'm just going to come into a gentle belly down back bend. So on the inhalation, toning through the core, you're going to start to lift forehead, nose, chin, chest. Shoulders rising a little bit. As you exhale, come on back down. If you have any wrist sensitivity, you can actually take your hands off the ground on the next time that you rise. Exhale, release. One more round here, pressing into the tops of the feet, strong legs. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to release. And then placing palm on palm, bending the knees, and letting the lower half of the legs just wash a little bit side to side. We're starting to wind down the practice. So notice that the front of the thighs are getting a massage. This movement from side to side with the lower legs might be offering you a nice release in the low back. If for any reason this doesn't feel good, lay the legs out long again. And in fact, we'll all join you there. Lay the legs out long. We're going to slowly roll onto our backs. So take your feet mat distance. Turn your palms face up by your sides. Receive a breath. On the exhalation, let the breath go. Again, inhaling. And exhaling. And then coordinating movement with breath as you breathe in. You can take your legs or your knees to the right on the exhalation. And then inhaling your knees to center, and as you exhale, letting your knees fall to the left. And inhaling the knees skyward, and as you exhale, the knees to the right, and the gaze can start to go to the left if that feels okay in your neck. Inhale, knees and gaze through center, and as you exhale, gaze to the right and knees to the left. Again, inhaling through center. So you're welcome to continue to move side to side this way. If you'd like to rest in a gentle supine twist, you can let your knees just release over to the right, gaze to the left. The palms can always be in this gentle position by your sides. If you want to invite this stretch up into your upper back, arms can come up in alignment with your shoulders. You could always take cactus arms where there's a little bend in the elbows. If this doesn't feel like enough of a stretch, you could take the outer right ankle onto the left thigh. For some of you that might feel like too much, so by all means, just take a simple twist that serves. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, please do so. Relax your face. Notice if your connection to breath is a little bit more concrete after almost a half an hour of practice. As you're ready, you can take your gaze and your knees to center. On an exhalation, let the knees fall to the left and the gaze to the right. Again, the knees and the ankles and the feet can stay right where they are, or you could take the outer left ankle onto the right thigh, and this might deepen sensation in the right hip. And you may decide that that doesn't feel right, in which case the ankle can come back to the earth, back to the ground. Draw your attention to your lungs and allow the inhalation to have an expansive quality. On the exhalation, let your shoulders get heavy. Relax the soles of the feet. If your eyes are still open and you feel as if you could close them, you might choose to at this time. And we'll slowly bring the knees back to center. We'll come into our final resting pose. You can lay your legs out long. You could always place a pillow, a folded blanket, a couch pillow under your thighs. Turn the palms either open, or it might feel nice to place one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. You can gently windshield wiper the ankles in and out, so you're drawing the leg bones internally and then externally rotated. We're just sending a message to the body that it's time to relax, time to release practice. Find a nice neutral place for the head to rest, which might mean that you let it rock a little bit side to side first. And then eventually come into stillness. Let the rising and the falling of your breath be full of ease. You can send the clear message to your body, mind, heart, that there's nothing left to do. Again, the rising and the falling of the breath, full of ease. Muscles softening their attachment to bone. Eyes softening behind closed lids. Learning to take rest might be the most important yoga shape, yoga posture, yoga form. So really inviting yourself into an experience of relaxation, and you're more than welcome to stay here as long as you like. If you have 10, 15, even 20 minutes, you're welcome to stay here. Otherwise, you might slowly begin to draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice, strong embrace. Again, really appreciating your efforts, letting your efforts be more than enough. Rocking a little bit side to side. In your own time, rolling to one side. Using your arm closest to the ground as a headrest and pausing in side-lying child's pose. Noticing how easy it is to disconnect from breath, and how with practice it can become easier to come home to ourselves. In your own time, pressing hands into ground and rising back up to take a seat. And I encourage you to grab a folded blanket or a block or a cushion. Give yourself a little lift. And then with head balanced over heart and heart balanced over pelvis, bring the hands once again into prayer pose in front of the heart, and take a moment to bow head to heart space. Know that at any point during your week, you can reconnect with breath and body by taking this gentle sequence. You can leave out any part that doesn't serve you. You can always take child's pose. Maybe just listening into the cues is enough. And then taking thumb knuckles to third eye, that place right between the eyebrows. Maybe each be open to a more authentic connection to ourselves. Maybe take all that we learn and cultivate on our yoga mats out into daily life. Maybe feel steady, maybe feel supported, maybe feel more connected. Namaste.
Namaste.